Well, sure, we can just get started, and if people join along the way, then that's fine. And yeah, if it ends up being a shorter session, that's also okay. It's not so dependent on the rest of the program. But yeah, I think all of you know me. My name's Whitney. I work with Nevis Outreach. I also have a large Nevis, a bathing trunk Nevis. My parents were connected to Nevis Outreach when I was around 6, and I attended almost all of the conferences every 2 years since then. And then now I'm working as a staff member with the organization from Germany. So I work remotely. And it's also a nice little connection between, Nevis Outreach as a US-based organization, but serving internationally. We have really incredible members in about 36 countries, which just blows my mind that we actually can see that number now. So yeah, we hope to also build our resources internationally, because I think even though we have people all over the globe that are part of this community, because we're US based in the sense that that's where we primarily operate, sometimes our vision can become a little bit US centric. And so that's also part of my role these days, is reminding us we're a global organization, and how can we also better serve globally, right? How can we connect with our members internationally as well. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm here in Germany. I'm actually in Bielefeld at the moment. So normally I live about an hour outside of Berlin. I'm further over towards the west side, just for the month for also another project. And yes, it's 12:06 p.m. here. So I know we're all operating on different time zones. And yeah, maybe we can just go around and introduce ourselves. I'll call you out as I see you on my screen. So Lizzie, would you like to go first?
Hi, my name is Lizzie Coleman. I'm in the US, North Carolina. I just wanted to say hi to the international friends, but I've been with Nevis Outreach for, 20, how old is the organization, Whitney? 26 years now?
Yep, going on 26
Right.
years.
Yeah, so maybe like 25. We went to our first conference when my son was a toddler, and that was at Snow Mountain Ranch in Colorado. I think that was like 2000. Um, my son unfortunately passed away 11 years ago from uh, complications related to his nevus. And then also my husband, Paul, was on the board for Nevis Outreach, and I lost him to cancer 2 years ago, but I still love to stay connected with my Nevis family because they're very near and dear to my heart. And my husband's, he was very involved, and I just want to see like both the legacy of my son and my husband continue. So I like to stay connected and see my friends.
We're so happy to have you, Lizzie. And it's true, both Evan and Paul's legacy really live on, are such a core strand, I think, of what we're doing. So we're happy to continue to have you as part of our community, and we feel them with us also all the time. Marjolein, would you like to go next?
Well, hello, my name is Marjolein van Kessel. And my story is quite similar from Lizzie's story. So I connected to the Dutch organization because I'm from the Netherlands in 1999, when my son was about 1 year old. And he passed away in 2012, actually exactly on this date, because that was 11 years ago. And ever since, I feel like I would like to work for this community, this whole community of people with congenital nevus, because I struggled quite a lot during my life with my son, and I feel like a lot can be improved still. So I work for the Dutch Nevis organization, Nevis Netwerk Nederland, and I also work for Nevis Global, or I try to work internationally and try to keep Nevis Global running. And I believe it's important that we are internationally connected.
Absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, I was hoping a larger group would be here so that I could introduce Marjolein to more people, because she's also just a fantastic resource. Nevis Global really is, in my experience, as this like umbrella that brings many Nevis organizations around the world together. We actually have meetings throughout the year, which is quite incredible, that we can share best practices and talk about what all of our organizations are up to, because as we know, we're a rare disease. And so the more resources we can pool, the better. And the more connections we can make, the better. I don't think it's by accident that Nevis Outreach, although based in the US, has members from 36 countries, because people are looking for any resources they can find, no matter where they are in the world. And so,
that's
especially
the most important thing, that we are connected.
Yeah.
Actually, Nevis Global was founded 10 years ago. I just realized it's 10 years ago. It was in 2013.
Wow.
So I have to make an announcement about that. And I think at some point, Nevis Global will get a bigger role, but it's just at this moment, we're all very involved with our own organization, our national organization, to keep it running. So any activity is great. And one day Nevis Global will be bigger again and more involved.
Yes, and we even spoke about Nevis Global having perhaps an in-person meeting in the coming year or two, so that can also be something very exciting. Where
that would be great.
Yeah, I think it has potential for making sort of a path forward, right? As these global ideas in mind,
setting new goals.
Yeah. Ziggy and Alexander, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Ziggy. This is Alexander. So Whitney and Marjolein know the story already. So we live in South Africa, in Cape Town, but I'm German, and Alexander was born in America. So he was born there also 2013, so nearly 10 years ago. And he was born in New York, and we were actually very lucky that he was born there, because we found Nevis Outreach right away, literally, like, I don't know, I think the day after his birth. And then also had great doctors attending to him. So he's got a bathing trunk Nevis. And yeah, so far, no, all good. The MRIs were all clear. So he's living happily. We go for the, every 6 months, we go for the checkups. So yeah, we've had 2 meetings or 2 get-togethers here within South Africa with other patients. The last one before COVID, so we haven't actually met since. But what we did last year, because I'm German, we actually were invited to the German gathering. So Benny had invited us, and we went, and that was actually a lovely experience for Alexander to see other children. And so I'm still hopeful maybe that we can actually go again this year in September. So we'll see. But so that's our story. we were also hoping that there'd be some children for him to see today, but that's okay. It's nice to just, I'm actually very happy that Zander now, we call him Zander rather than Alexander, that he gets to see you, Whitney, and you, Marjolein, because I've spoken about you. So now he can actually put some faces to the names.
It's very nice to meet you, Alexander. And actually, I'm really hoping to also get to the German meeting this year in September. So maybe we will meet there also, if you're able.
He was actually just asking me if you spoke German by now. Do you?
I do now, yes. A year ago, I did not.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I can understand quite a lot, and I can communicate a bit. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, it takes some time. Super. Well, we're super happy to have you. And Ziggy, did you end up have you connected with other families also in South Africa, or so far not so much?
Yeah, so we've probably got around 20 families, but South Africa is so big. So the distances are far, and it's not as easy to travel here. Sorry, Zander. No, Zander, no. So it's actually it's also an economic question, so I think so we had 2 meetings where where the people that hosted actually were very generous in hosting the groups, which worked out quite well. And actually, then we had a third meeting where we tried to raise some funds, but we're not an NPO or an NGO legally, so that makes it, you know, a bit more difficult for people to donate. Yeah, we haven't done any fundraisers now. It's, I don't know, it's also, I think it's a cultural thing. So people here, so patient advocacy as such doesn't exist here so as a thing so much, which is a shame. It just doesn't. Yeah, but we've got quite an active WhatsApp group. So because we're so few people, it's actually it works quite well on WhatsApp, you know. So and we all, I mean, there's a lot of people also don't want to be involved. I don't know, you probably find that too. So people that just, you know, want to get the resources, and then, you know, we send them to the right doctors, and then, you know, they go on their own journey, and that's fine. I think it just depends on, yeah, on the person.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Everyone sort of has different interest in or different levels of interest and involvement. And yeah, sometimes they don't need that connection, and sometimes the connection is the main thing people look for.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah. Super. Yeah, I'm just interested because I talk about this with Marjolein once in a while. Sort of some countries operate mostly through like a WhatsApp group, and some actually have a lot of physical meetings, and some don't really have any organizations at all in their countries, and that's why they're interested in connecting with Nevis Outreach or even with other countries around them. And I think this is also something we could consider when we're from a Nevis Outreach perspective, when we're developing some more resources for our members, is okay, what's really working well, or what is it that people are wanting? Is it more this informal communication through WhatsApp or through like a meeting like this? I think the problem is, or not the problem, but a phenomenon happening now is post-COVID, people are just quote unquote zoomed out. And so even though it's lovely to see each other digitally, maybe people are doing it all the time, and so they don't necessarily want to spend their free time in this space as well, which I can understand. Marjolein just asked when the German meeting in September is. I believe it's September 17th to 19th or somewhere around those dates. I'm not completely certain, but
I think it's the 15th to the 17th.
15th to 17th. Yeah, and I believe it's on the Nevis Netzwerk, the German group website as well. And I see a message here from Mike that he wrote. I'll just read it out. He says, hi, I'm listening and getting around this morning. I'm Mike from Ohio with a bathing trunk nevus, 62 years old. No removal, but one fairly large surgery in my early 20s to remove masses that formed. He's only been to one conference in 2018, but hoping to attend in 2024. Thank you, Mike. And I had the pleasure of corresponding with Mike. He was actually one of the first people that helped us in our beta testing for the membership sign-up forms. He was helping us kind of troubleshoot those. And yes, I remember that Mike, you weren't able to attend the in-person conference last year, and we missed you there. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you next year. And in case you, because it's the international group, so probably attending some of the sessions live is happening when you're sleeping, which is also happening for me. If you're interested, any of the virtual conference sessions are available for playback. So when you go into the attendee portal and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a session that's a section that says watch videos on playback or something like this. And you can watch all the sessions that you've missed. So yesterday in the board meeting, the open board meeting, Marilee actually did a small presentation about the conference happening next year in person in St. Louis, and they announced the conference dates. And yes, just in case anybody is interested in that, you can watch it back. What are the dates? Yes, good question. I didn't write them down as I was watching. July 18th, July 8th to 11th, I believe, or something like this. But there's something also going on the 7th and the 12th. So depending on how long of a stay you want, or yeah, how many days you want to attend. I'll just verify that before I.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
It's Monday, July 8th through Wednesday, the 10th, but they're going to try having extra like social activities on Sunday, the 7th and Thursday, the 11th.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lizzie.
Yeah, no problem. Very exciting. I've never been to St. Louis before, so I'm excited to go.
Yeah, me neither. And yeah, something also quite exciting that's come out of the membership program at Nevis Outreach that we just launched last year is we can actually see now where our members are in the world. And so as we start to move forward into the future and we have more data, it'll also help us think about where we want to host conferences, right? So no, it's okay. It's super fun. I love the glasses, Ziggy. Have to spice up the meeting a little bit.
No, I don't know how to get it. I'm sorry, Xander's really playing.
That's exactly what my son Evan would be doing. So I love it.
No, Xander, no, stop. Xander, stop. Dann mach wenigstens auf leise. Okay. Okay, we'll put ourselves on mute.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I guess I'm curious to hear. As I said, I was hoping it would be a bit bigger of a group today, but the group here is also wonderful. I'm curious to hear from you, sort of if you have any wishes about, you know, these kind of international communications or meetings, if you also have this feeling that, yeah, a Zoom meeting is not really something I want to do all the time. A WhatsApp group would be best, or a Facebook group, or I don't know, some other way. I will say that right now through membership, we're about to launch a membership directory. So anybody who agrees to it, we will send a private document just to our members, which says, which lists people's names, countries, cities, and email addresses. So if you want to see actually from our membership, okay, I'll scroll down to South Africa and, oh, wow, I see there are 2 other families listed here. I can email them because they've consented to doing that. But again, that's for our members specifically. So I think everyone here is already a member, but just also if it's something you want to share with your communities, that people can become a member and then gain access to that information as well. But yeah, I'm curious to hear from you if you have any something you'd like to see happen on the international level, or something that you've done in the past that hasn't worked. I just would invite you to share.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to have the online database or the membership, and then to actually be able to go on, or like for you, I don't know, would it be like that you access, so that it's like that is a website that you access and that you then you can see where everyone is, or I'm so sorry. I can't even concentrate on Ivate. Okay, I'm gonna take this away. I'm gonna take my glasses away. Okay. So would it be a forum that people access and then they find the other patients, or how would it actually work?
That's a great question. Actually, right now, Nevis Outreach is about to launch a new website page. And so the initial step is just the new way it looks and getting all of the correct information in there, updated information, distilled information, because right now our website was quite difficult to navigate. And something we've spoken about is making some kind of member portal there. So we have a bit more of a contained space for people to interact. We haven't actually developed that yet. And we've also talked about having sort of a map, like an interactive map where you can click and say, okay, I want to see who's in Germany, click, and then it shows, you know, the members who have consented to doing that. So that's a project in the works probably over the next year and a half. Right now, we just send you basically a nice spreadsheet that says, you know, by country, list by country alphabetically, and then you can see the individual contacts.
yeah, but that's amazing already. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe an addition to that would be, well, when I started taking over the NIVIS Global website, I try to add to all the countries that either have a Facebook group, a WhatsApp group, or an official organization. I try to locate that, but it's just listed alphabetically. Actually, right now I'm rebuilding the whole, I'm rebuilding the entire NIVIS Global website. But when you say like you want the members to be pinpointed on a map, it would be also good to take the information from NIVIS Global website, and if there's a country that you also pinpoint the WhatsApp groups, the Facebook groups, and it's always a bit difficult because it changes quickly. But whatever initiative we have is great.
That's a fantastic idea, Marjolein. Yeah, really pooling those resources, because now it's basically when you sign up to become a member, then you get a follow-up email and it says, here's all of our social media groups where you can connect with people. And at the moment we have, we're working on these regional groups within the United States because it's such a large country. We need to have sort of distilled areas where people can also connect. But I feel a bit that the international, non-US or Canada group gets kind of clumped into international. And then of course we're all over the world and also seeking people closer by. So it would be really nice to pool those resources.
Maybe it should be better if it was listed on the NIVIS Global website. On the other hand, we always discuss, well, we like we said, we already have to discuss like what are going to be the goals for NIVIS Global. But do we really want it to be an umbrella organization for other organizations or for individuals? And that's such a complicated question, like when there's no organization. But actually, I don't want NIVIS Global to have members other than the organizations. So, and any information that's on NIVIS Global websites can be used by anyone. I don't mind. I just try to keep track of everything and put it in a website. But if this would be helpful for the international people at the NIVIS Outreach website, please use it.
Super. Thank you so much, Marjolein. Yeah, I think we can continue speaking about how we can kind of consolidate that information. And like you said, whether from NIVIS Outreach, we link to NIVIS Global website or vice versa, or we kind of mix the two, would be a really nice way to, because at the moment we have, like I said, 36 countries, but from many of those countries, we have 1 or 2 members, right? And so I can say, well, there's somebody in a neighboring country in South America near you, but not in the same country, because again, the membership program is fairly new with NIVIS Outreach. And so it's like also taking time to build.
And this is also complicated when I want to help people. Like you think like, oh, he lives in that country, well, go to the neighbor country because there's a patient organization then there, but I don't know the politics. So for instance, I cannot refer a person from Ukraine right now to Russia. That would be terrible. But there are more, I mean, this is well known, but there are also things going on in countries that I'm not aware of. So that's what I try to do in the NIVIS Global website, like pick your own country where you want to go to. And these are the countries that I have connections to.
Absolutely. And also the connections between countries that, like just myself as an example, right? I grew up in the US, I have family in Spain, I live in Germany, and I think many people have these situations where they're connected to several countries. And maybe they travel often, maybe they just want to connect with different groups in different countries, or at least with different members, if not the actual organization, just with other NIVIS owners.
In the background, I have the connection, like if there's a WhatsApp group, I have the connections to who to contact for the WhatsApp group, because I cannot put private information on the website.
Right.
I have another suggestion. I think I see the emails from NIVIS Outreach coming by telling a little story about a person. I would also put that on the website somewhere, like put the patient stories there. And what I try to do right now is for the Dutch organization is when I send out an email, or when I make a social media posting, I want them to connect to the websites. And I want to see that the website is very much used. And when they use a lot of website, they can register for the newsletter. And if they go a step further, they can register to become a member or do a donation. And this is kind of the trick I'm trying to do. So when I see the little stories or see the pictures of people who want to share a little bit of them, I would also put it on the website. Just make a website page with patient stories, because those are probably the most important thing to do. And give them tags, like give them a tag, this is a story from Germany, or give them a tag, this is a story from Expanders, or whatever.
Thank you, Marjolein. Yeah, that's a great point, because at the moment we're focusing on these member highlights, and of course in this way to connect each other more. I think when we read those personal stories, we really have a feeling, oh, I know this person better and I can understand their journey with CMN, and oh, I relate to it in this way. And so already it brings us a bit closer. But yeah, linking it back also to the resources and then to the social connections that they can make, right? So that's a great point. And I think we've already maybe established a page on our new website that we're calling something like Share Your Rare, or not those words exactly, but a place where people can also go to submit their stories and pictures. But it would be great to think about posting already some of the ones we've created, so they can also see examples and connect with other people. Because as we always go back to, as we always talk about this, the stories are really the things that connect us the most.
Yeah. And I also have like a part on the website that's only for members. Like if someone doesn't want their own personal photograph or their own personal story on the website, you can also put it in the side of the website, which is only for members. Like if you don't want it to be too public. Then I have another suggestion, if I may.
Please.
Okay, so in Holland, we also just started a buddy training. And for Nivus Global, I've suggested it to give some people a training, like if there's a new member, that we can connect with them online. And recently I had someone in Nivus Outreach living in, I think, Romania. And there was no one they could connect to because they didn't know, there's no organization there. And just by listening to their story, I did the training. So I thought, well, I'll just try and give them a call, suggest that we can do a Zoom link. And they were so happy to talk with someone and to share their story. And they had a lot of fear, which was not real. And then I told them, well, this is the way it is. And it just helped them so much. So I think that would be another step to make too, to do buddy trainings. Like we have people who are trained to, not anyone can just do it, just some people you really can rely on, and they can connect to people anywhere on the world. That I think would help people a lot too.
So training and designating certain individuals to reach out to those people who don't necessarily have resources in their area, who don't have other connections to people with
or
CMN.
Even if they live close by and they are going to have surgery and just want to talk with someone, you can have trained buddies on anything. You don't need to wait for the conference to meet each other, but you can, with anything you struggle with or you're worried about, or something's key, especially new parents, probably, just to be able to talk to some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, last night in the board report, while we were sleeping, some of us, so you can watch it back, but Lauren mentioned that we're hoping to put together a support committee. So establishing ongoing support groups, not just because those are really also the things that people at our in-person conferences come away and say, this was the most impactful or the most helpful for me, was talking to other parents, talking to other people with CMN, talking to other siblings, etc. And so thinking about how we can incorporate that throughout the rest of the year. And we can also pinpoint and say, okay, this one is for new parents, this one is for adults with NIVI, this one is for grieving parents, etc. And I think the buddy training could be a really nice piece under that support umbrella. Something to consider is sort of having some, not experts, but point people who are, not just anybody in the community, but they actually are doing this ongoingly.
Yeah, and when we did the training, he said doesn't really matter if you don't have that particular experience, but the most important is that you're able to listen and not to start responding, but just listening to a person's story. That is the most helpful thing.
Mm-hmm. And may I ask what kind of, what you mean maybe by training? Who was training or how?
It's actually someone I know here around who's doing a lot of trainings for other things as well. And I asked him to do it. And he said he can do it. And he does it for people, for patient organization with handicapped children. Like that's a big grief too when you get a disabled child. And he has training there as well. He once tried to set up something which was called Parent to Parent. And it was too big and it didn't work. But that's how I got connected to him, because I thought I want to help with that. But now he's done it for us, just a parent to parent education. It was 2 days.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was just curious what the.
Yeah, because actually I'm thinking if we do meet in person with Nevis Global, I want to see if we can invite him too and have the training done for us at Nevis Global.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there are American people too, or that can help, like a very simple coaching education.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lizzie and Mike, do you have any? It's so nice that you're here, and I'm also curious, kind of what brought you here. Are you just interested in meeting people more than outside of the US as well, or are you looking for something specific from the international group?
I was just excited to say hi to my international friends and just hear what was going on, maybe in, Nevis Global. And yeah, I think everything, Whitney, that Nevis Outreach is trying to work on, and Marjolein, that I just went on the Nevis Global website. I hadn't been on there for a little while, and that looks really good. I think it's so important, all the work that's being done, just because, as you guys were just talking about, and I listened in on like the psychosocial session last night. It was just, I'm so far removed from that since, my son would be 24 if he were still here. So, I mean, just reliving, thinking about all those feelings you had when the, baby was first born. And yeah, I think just the parent to parent connection, the research information. I think as a new parent, you need somewhere to go, somewhere where you can get good information about what is it, what to do. And then having the ongoing support for like the questions about what sunscreen to use, or, what hat to wear. I mean, I don't know. There's just so many things. And, 20 plus years ago, we weren't so connected on the internet. So, and things were going really well with our son for a very long time. So we sort of fell away for a while. But I even just in the sessions I've been in this weekend, just hearing and reading about how they provide little packets for like teachers at school, so the kids at school can know more about what is a Nevis. So, I mean, there's just so many great things going on. I'm excited about the new patient registry. I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but restarting that and hearing some more about the parallel registry that's going to be happening with NIH. So I think it's just all really great work. So just, trying to go to as many sessions as I can this weekend, just to stay informed and see my friends.
Maybe I can tell Marjolein and Ziggy a little bit more about the you'll hear more about it tomorrow, or whenever you watch the tomorrow when you watch the playback. But essentially right now, Nevis Outreach is beginning to imagine establishing a new patient registry that's verified by medical experts. So in the past, we had a patient registry, but it was all the information was submitted by patients, and that's really difficult to verify, to be able to use it in studies or in medical journals. And so now the National Institute of Health, the NIH in the United States, they've started this natural history study where they're actually studying patients through a long period of time. And Nevis Outreach Research Committee alongside them is establishing a registry, which is also being verified by the medical experts. So it's they called it this parallel track. So the NIH has their registry and Nevis Outreach also has it. And people who perhaps don't want to be part of this government study can go kind of into the Nevis Outreach pool. If the NIH study is full, then we can put the overflow into that Nevis Outreach pool. So they're in conversation, they're talking to each other. And thank you for sharing about that, Lizzie, reminding me. I think what I always come back to, because Nevis Outreach is a US-based organization, our research, medical team does end up being highly focused in the US, just, for logistical, for legal reasons. And so that bubble sort of has to stay there, for lack of a better term. And so what excites me is how, because Nevis Outreach has these three components of awareness, support, and cures. And so how can we take awareness and support and really expand that on an international level while we're also really focused on the cures, right? The research, the finding medical information within the US, because of course, things change so much across country lines. And yeah, so just naming that's maybe more of the focus, so to speak, on the international level. But I think it's also, it would be fantastic to translate some of our resources. As you said, people come for different reasons. And so sometimes they're seeking the support or they want to grow awareness, but sometimes they just need that. What is this? What am I dealing with? How, where can I go? What do I need to know? And for example, our general CMN brochure is already translated into Spanish, also because we have many Spanish speakers in the US. And from a personal point of view, I would be interested to think about what other materials we have that could be useful and in other languages, and which languages those could be. I think that's also something Nevis Outreach could add to our long-term projects if we're really aiming to reach a more international community, or at least sharing that information, even if it's just applicable within the US, that this is the research that's happening, and you can read about it perhaps in different languages as well.
So for
Can I
that,
ask
and
sorry, go ahead.
sorry. So how does it work? So you've got certain doctors that you work with and their patients, of course, all America-based, but just in general, how does it work? So their patients get included, or do people volunteer and then the doctor send through their information? How does it work?
So the National Institute of Health has been not accepted. What's the word? Well, English is hard. They've been approved for this clinical trial, and so and also this natural history study. They have kind of two studies going on at the moment. So anybody that enrolls in their study will be put into this kind of patient registry, the database. And so it's, at the moment, actually, I think Maggie will speak more about this later today, how the actual Nevis Outreach patient registry will work. I know that it's overseen by a medical professional. I don't know if the information is submitted through their GP or their dermatologist or who it is, but I imagine it's, not just the patient typing in the information. But I'm not personally aware of the process. Did that answer your question? I hope so.
No, that's cool. You don't worry. No. If you'd known more, that's fine. I'll listen into I don't know which session that would be. I just find it quite interesting how it works.
Yeah, it'll be the research and clinical trials update. So you'll see. You can also, in case you can't find it in the attendee portal, but it should be there. when you can also just go to Nevis Outreach YouTube page, and there's a playlist called Virtual Conference. And so you can watch through all of the not pre-recorded, the recorded sessions, also pre-recorded.
Can I ask Marjolein about the, is it the Melkaya research? I just read that on the Nevis Global webpage. I don't know how long that's been going on or how that's going.
It has just started like in December, I believe. And it was Heather Etchevers who contacted me about it. I tried to register Nevis Global to it, but that didn't work because we took off the official registration. So I added the Dutch organization to it. But it's an international study, and they want patients to be involved. And it's a very, very big project. It's like it's a European subsidized project, and it has many work packages. So from all different countries, researchers are added to this research. Now the Melkaya project is about pediatric melanoma, and well, they want the patient journey, like what are the experiences from patients. That's something that we need to work on. So I need to contact people who have experience with melanoma and get their experiences in it. They are working in this project, and I'm trying to think of everything. They're trying to find out how to come to a better diagnosis. They're thinking that maybe with dermoscopy, it can be monitored better. But in Israel, they have a technique where they use the breath of a person to analyze and see if there's melanoma in it. Apparently, they believe that it can be detected. Now, that would be another thing. See, the issue with pediatric melanoma is it's so rare that all the doctors do act differently to it, and they want to kind of more standardize it by doing this huge project. So they want to work on diagnosis, and then they want to work on how do we treat these patients, that it's more standardized, and also that we have that they can have a second opinion option, like a European consultation with each other to see how to treat them. And gosh, I think this is as much as I understood. Let me see, because I have the pamphlets here.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Identify, establish. Oh, also something that's so difficult is to determine whether there's melanoma. We think it's difficult when a dermatologist looks at a nevus. It will say, oh no, this doesn't look good, and they want to take biopsies because it looks so different from a derived nevus. But when you go into pathology, it's just as complicated. So you can have a first diagnosis from a pathologist who says, oh no, this is all wrong, and the second pathologist will say, no, nothing's wrong with it. So they want to work on that, and also use digital screening, so that artificial intelligence will tell whether it's a melanoma or not. Okay, so I think those are the most important things they want to invest in the project, and it will take about 4 years, this entire project.
Thanks. I think that's really exciting. That's all really important work. That's interesting about the breath analysis. That's
well, actually, the person who was the leader of this whole group, she also looked like, I don't know if I can believe it, but she said we have to dream big, and now that's
right.
That's
hey,
wonderful.
Yeah. And then AI, gosh, I can't even imagine how that would work. But
yeah, that are going to be huge steps forward. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And maybe, of course, we talked about this at our Nevis Global meeting, which went out to many people, but just to share with the Nevis outreach community, both Marjolein and I attended the Global Skin Conference in Brussels a couple of months ago, and that was bringing patient advocacy groups together, and was really powerful. We learned a lot. We also had some time to meet with other rare disease organizations and identify common difficulties or, themes that we're working with, and kind of think about ways we can also further pool our resources in dermatology in general, because there are so many, small groups and branches, and it's really amazing how many similarities there are in all of our groups. Many of us are small organizations doing big things with very little resources, and it seemed like there was a lot of possibility there to share with each other. So it's exciting as well to think about, okay, how can we not only share our resources within the nevus community internationally, but also potentially with other dermatological conditions, structurally, and also in terms of raising money and all kinds of programs. So one other thing that we learned about during the Global Skin Conference was this initiative that they have going on called the GRID Project, where they've actually established through with a medical professional who's done her PhD on this topic, a new way of measuring the quality of life. And so they've actually taken, I think it was like the 3 or 4 main tools that medical professionals use, dermatologists in the dermatology field, to measure these, and then based on an extensive amount of years researching this and compiling them, they've actually proven that their new method against these would be the most recommendable version for medical professionals. And so right now they're kind of in a beta testing phase where they've asked patient groups to fill out an initial, basically to try it out, to fill out the survey. And now they're in their second round of testing, but just to share that it's potentially something that's really exciting for the dermatology community that could really also change the way, as Marjolein was saying, everyone, especially internationally, has such different ways of approaching things, or, okay, one person thinks this, one person thinks that, and there's no common way of assessing it. And so I think this is,
I think it will also help us as a patient organization, because we get the data too, and we can just, with these data, we can show it has impact. Like a skin disease is not just putting a cream on there and everything is fine, or going to a dermatologist for yearly control. It has a social impact, it has a psychological impact. And for some reason that never really comes clear. It doesn't come clear to the policymakers, not to the dermatologists. And by filling in the survey, we have more data to show that the impact is really, really big. So I'm just looking already at who is attending this meeting, but I don't know if Mike has already filled it in, but filled in the survey. But I would like to ask if he would like to do that, because Nevus Outreach will also get the data like anyone in America. These are our data, we can ask them.
Excellent point. Yeah, this was an ongoing topic throughout the Global Skin Conference. We know that dermatological conditions are not just topical. They're not about the skin themselves. They have huge social, mental, psychological, emotional implications and effects. And so coming up with a way to really measure and prove this is quite incredible, because we see, across the board, mental health is not taken seriously in many cultures and many societies in general. And so then you add this layer of, okay, I have a huge visible difference or something like this. And we know that that's also what people need support with, right? It's not just what should I do, surgery or not. It's also how do I live a life with confidence, feeling secure with myself, in community, all of these things. And Marjolein just posted the link. I know that they're already in their second round of sending the follow-up, so I'm not positive, but I would still try if you're able to. And unfortunately, at this point, it is only adults over the age of 18. So yeah, for example, Mike, you would be eligible to complete the survey.
Yeah, you have to finish it before September 28th. Then they will
deadline is
close it. Yeah.
September 28th, yes. And yeah, so absolutely anybody over the age of 18 with a dermatology condition can fill it out, and it will be hugely helpful for the community and for this study that they're doing.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, hi, this is Mike. I had a couple minutes here.
Super. Hi, Mike.
Hi. Yeah, I just really wanted to connect to see what was happening internationally and really just had a chance to log on, so I did.
Fantastic. And can you remind us where you're joining us from?
Yeah, I'm in Ohio.
Super. Well, we're really happy to have you. And yeah, it's also so fun. I mean, I remember even going to the in-person conferences as a child, and there would be, you know, a family from Finland there and a family from Mexico. And it was so cool to me that, you know, we could connect in this way. And now even with technology, like we've been talking about, the way that things have developed even just in the last 10 years. We have so much more possibility for it. So,
Oh, absolutely.
and do you want to just share with the group, Mike, if you feel about your connection to Nevus Outreach? I know I read it a little bit before, but maybe you can just tell us.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to think. In 2016, I think I found the Nevus group. So basically, I spent 55 years of my life, you know, not being connected to anybody else. So just finding that group was great. And then they told me about the conference. In 2016, when I found it, found everybody, it was just after the conference happened. So I didn't attend 2016, but then so it was a long 2 years actually waiting to go to the conference in 2018. And well, I sure loved it, but it just didn't work out for last year. But again, hopefully, you know, next year I can go. But you know, conference is just life changing for sure. I'm sure everybody that's been to them knows that. But it sure was for me, just like everybody. Definitely life changing, meeting people that lives with what we live with.
Thank you so much, Mike. Yeah, it's actually incredible because I think it's easy to focus a little bit as an organization on, okay, the new parents, quote unquote, with a baby with CMN, but there are many people in our community like you, Mike, who come to the organization, who find information about the organization well into their adulthood, and they say, yeah, before I was 40, 50, 60, I had never met somebody else with large nevi, and that's a really incredible story. And yeah, we see you as well. We see that experience as valid and as one that many people also share.
Right.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I just want to allow for any last questions or comments if anybody has anything they want to share. I also just would like to remind everyone in the virtual conference that in your attendee area, like I said, you can access recordings. So especially for those of us not in the US, you can watch back and see what you weren't able to attend live. You can always email us with questions or comments. We love to hear from the community. And just a couple of other quick notes before I let other people speak, that maybe this is fun for Alexandra, there's a scavenger hunt that you can take part in during the virtual conference, and you might win a prize if you tick some things off. So you can also find that in the attendee portal. We also have, Lizzie has to run. Thank you so much for joining us, Lizzie. See you next time. Bye. And then we also have the silent auction fundraiser, and there are some things there that are available internationally. So maybe let your friends know that the silent auction fundraiser is going on, check it out. And last thing is that there's a virtual swag bag. So we have some kind of fun bonus content in there as well, in that attendee portal on the website. So check out everything there. We've got some discounts from vendors and some fun games and stuff like that. That might be fun. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Whitney. And I'm happy for all the work you do. You're just a perfect connection for me with USA.
Oh, yay. Well, I'm also very happy to be connected with you and Nevis Global. It's fantastic.
And good to see the ones who were in here. Good to see
Yeah.
Siggy, good to see Lizzie, and nice to meet Mike.
Right. Okay, here we are.
The mustaches,
so
I
much
love
about
it.
Zoom now.
We have to do, yeah, that's, God, imagine homeschooling. Imagine what that was like. Like this with the teachers, yeah. Well, thank you
So
for
nice-
having us.
Yeah, so nice to see you both.
Well, I'm happy for Xander that he's now seen you too. At least he's heard
Mhm.
about you, so now he's seen you, so I'm happy. I'll be in touch. I'm so excited for you, Whitney, with your news, so that you'll potentially spend the rest of your life in Germany.
Yes, yes, it seems like it. Thank you. I'm also
Oh,
very excited.
congratulations. So
Thank
excited.
you. Thank you.
Cool.
Ja, vielleicht sehen wir uns im September. Mal sehen.
Mal sehen. Warte mal, vielleicht. Das wäre echt schön. Okay, Sani. Nein.
Nee,
okay.
ich muss
No,
nur
no.
die Background.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone. Have a
Bye
nice
now.
day. Ciao.
Whitney.